Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Justin Wolf from Wolf Customs, and today we're going to be building a sheath that is called the Wet Weather Knife System. If you want to learn more about this particular system, you will find in the description box a link to the video explaining this particular setup. The build itself is going to consist of a kydex sheath, two kydex ferro rod loops, a leather backer, a hand-forged steel striker, as well as a holder for it. The kydex we're going to be using is a Coyote Brown 0.080 thickness and can be found from knifekits.com. The leather I'll be using is 9 to 10 ounce Herman oak leather that can be purchased and found at tandyleather.com. The eyelet size is going to be completely personal preference. Again, I purchase all my eyelets from knifekits.com. Now, as far as the steel is concerned, I'm going to be using a very high carbon steel, some scrap that I have laying around the shop. Now, before I get started, a special thank you goes out to my good friend Gary Lawson from C2G Fab. When Gary first found out that I was wanting to learn the art of kydex, he approached me and told me that if there was ever any help that he could offer, just to ask. Gary has always been very open and honest with me, and for that I greatly appreciate it, because I certainly wouldn't be where I'm at with my kydex if not for Gary's help. Now with that, let's get started. I hope you guys enjoy this video. When you first start working with kydex, you're going to find that it's very easy to either leave too much material on or take too much material off. I personally have found that if I leave myself a cushion of 1¼ inch, it really helps. Just because the knob on your oven says one thing doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the temperature. Invest in a good thermometer. Form a plan. Lay your items out in a strategic manner so you can execute quickly and effectively. With my two pieces now pulled apart, I can lay out my grid lines to determine where I want my eyelets, as well as what kind of shape I want my sheath to be. I'm also going to be using a transfer punch. The transfer punch is going to allow me to mark my eyelet locations and keep my drill bit from walking. I'm going to start the drilling process by putting my two pieces of kydex back together with the knife inside. I'm going to be using 4 eyelets for this. The first thing I'm going to do is drill one hole in one of the corners and put the eyelet through it. I'm then going to drill the opposite corner and put the eyelet through it. Now with two opposite corners drilled and eyeletted, my sheath is very secure. Now I can move forward and drill out the last two. Once the last two eyelet locations are drilled and secured, I can now go through and finish drilling out the rest of my holes and know that my sheath will not move. Now remember, you can always take material off, but you can never put material back on. Now I'm simply going to give my sheath shape using my belt sander. Then I'm going to follow it up with a higher grit sandpaper, 320 grit to be exact, and I'm going to sand this by hand. After sanding, I'm going to go back and provide a bit of a more polished look. But one thing that I personally do not like is a very high glossed edge. The reason I don't like this is if I find myself in the field hunting or whatever it is I may be doing, I don't want my location given away by the sun reflecting off the edge of my sheath. I've found that going over it with a piece of denim really gives it a finished look. Setting your eyelets can be one of the most frustrating things you can do. I've found that if you use an arbor press and an eyelet set, this can be relatively easy. Each eyelet that you set will come out consistent. When it comes to your leather backer, this is going to be something that's your own design. Please take a look at some of my older tutorial videos when it comes to leather. I show you the tools that you need, as well as the techniques to use those tools and create some really nice projects. I use multiple dyes when it comes to leather, but in this case I chose to go with a black professional water stain by EcoFlow. This can be found at Tandy Leather. Once your dye is dry and buffed, now it's time to apply a finish. Again, in this case, I chose a professional finish from EcoFlow and also can be found at Tandy Leather. Now I'm going to go back and apply a leather conditioner. My personal favorite is something that's natural with a beeswax base. In this case, I'm going to be using Obenos Heavy Duty LP. Standard metal rulers really like to skate across kydex. Finding one with a cork backing is essential to keep it from sliding. You will notice a slight shine start to develop on the piece of kydex that I'm working with. This let me know that I heated it up too much and it started to melt. I ultimately replaced this piece. I now position my ferro rod loop behind my sheath. I mark it with a pencil, then go back and mark it with my center punch and drill it out. By doing this, I can now take my screw post and put through my ferro rod loop and sheath to hold it in position while I mark my last hole. After doing that, I repeat this process with my second loop, and then it's time to put the sheath together. Alright guys, well, we are all finished with assembling the sheath. Now we just got a few attachments that I'm going to make for it. But first, take a look at what we got so far and see if you're even interested in watching part 2. This is what we got here, fully assembled. So how does it fit? Probably pretty horrible, right? Nope. Sits in there pretty dang good. Easy draw, very smooth. The sides do not rub the sheath because they were adequately taped. Snaps into position, never going anywhere. But again, a nice smooth action. Stay tuned for part 2. We're going to add something to this thing.